Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the True Life Podcast. I hope everybody has had a beautiful week. I hope that you have found a way to embrace the challenges that surround you, because it's those challenges that make you a better person, and they are necessary. I hope the sun is shining. Hope the birds are singing and the wind is at your back. I have a remarkable individual with me today, the one and only Bénédicte Mannix, a beacon of healing and transformation with 3 decades of experience as a psilocybin retreat facilitator. Bénédicte specializes in the profound intersection of childhood trauma and the mystical world of psilocybin. Hailing from the vibrant landscapes of Jamaica, she's a holistic therapist whose essence transcends the physical and delves deep into the realms of the mind, body, and soul. Her therapeutic approach, rooted in the wisdom of Rogerian therapy, radiates empathy and unconditional positive regard for her clients. As a transgenerational therapist, Bénédicte discerns the intricate web of generational patterns, diligently guiding her clients toward healthier, more empowering paths. Her toolkit extends to the art of sophrology, a practice that intertwines the body and mind, harnessing breathwork, gentle movements, muscular relaxation, and visualization to foster profound self-connection and consciousness. Not only is she a practitioner, but also a dedicated teacher, imparting her wisdom through the corridors of the Sophro Academy specialist programs, addressing anxiety, depression, and phobias. Her heart's focus, though, is on the profound domain of childhood trauma as the endeavors to pen a book illuminating how sophrology can mend the wounds of the past. Bénédicte's journey isn't confined to therapy rooms alone. She's a guardian of transformation at global festivals, expertly steering individuals through challenging psychedelic experiences, turning them into opportunities for healing and growth. Her presence has graced renowned festivals such as the Boom Festival, Africa Burn, Earth Dance, and many more. With a heart enriched by core values of gratitude, freedom, sincerity, self-awareness, respect, empathy, and boundless love, Bénédicte embodies the essence of transformative healing. Thank you so much for being with me today. Bénédicte, how are you?
I'm, I'm very good. I'm surprised about. I'm very surprised about hearing all this about myself. That's a lot. Yeah,
Well, I think it's
it,
an awesome story.
it's a life journey.
Yeah.
It's a life journey that I say that I've started before me, before as a transgenerational therapist. Of course, my history started a long way before myself, and today I'm the results of all this life and I understood ayahuasca session that I had in the Amazonian forest about that was like completely the result of all this journey that I've had, all this trip that I had, all the visiting all this country, traveling for years and years, like in Asia and everywhere. Yeah, everything makes sense today, that where I am at now in my life and everything that have happened. It's great. It's always that's when we have a hard time in life. It's always difficult to imagine that this is the best that can happen to us now. And but when we look back, we say, "Oh wow, this is we were exactly where we were needing to be, and to learn the lesson with that we needing to be where we are at now." That So yeah, no regret. Just like I'm blessed to have had the life that I had, and very blessed to be able to be in Jamaica to do legally what I love to do, helping people, and with the help also of psilocybin. So yeah, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm lucky to be like meeting all those people that are teachers also that for me. It's every time I'm grateful for the lesson that people are offering me. That yeah.
I agree. Before we got started up, we talked a little bit about your journey. You have been throughout the world, and it seems that wherever you travel to in the world, you were learning different lessons. Maybe you could talk a little bit about your background in traveling and some of the things you've learned.
Um, I've changed my mind about something that, before I was saying that psychedelic saved my life, India saved my life. Today I can say that I've saved my life. And I say it because I want to pass the message. People save their life, nothing else. And that's important to know that, to take the responsibility of it. And I'm talking about India because I travel all over the world, and India was a place where I find really love, like that people not having anything else than just love to give, and love that I received. There was a beautiful journey to. So I guess that I've started to see life a different way. Was my multiple travel in Asia, and also that my multiple travel in the psychedelic world. that's that's starting very young, and just like self-medicating myself, because I realized today that, yeah, that this is like the psychedelic world is kind of a territory,
Yeah.
and that's for me that today, to see where psychedelics are today, like specifically today, how it's the explosion there,
Yeah.
and it's I believe that this is a territory that is a huge space with no limits that can't be contained. So studying psychedelics have limits, not the psychedelic itself. That's a study that, for me, that, like trying to study something that is like that can't be, yeah, that I can see the limitation in it. And but it's interesting and important that so I don't know if I've really answered your question. That
Yeah.
I travel like a lot, and I'm still traveling. That I'm French, so I started in France, and
Mhm.
I yeah, I live in Jamaica now since 6 years, and I work here. Uh, and every culture, every culture, every people is a new lesson for me. That, that each country have, like I was saying, that here in Jamaica, I learned respect.
Yeah.
That's a nice word that they love to use, and yeah, the pride, the respect. So I love this Jamaican pride and respect that they have, and I'm learning from it. So it's yeah, every day is a lesson.
Yeah. It's interesting. You've been in so many different places. And sometimes in the world of psychedelics, we often talk about this idea of set and setting, making sure that you're in the right space or that you have the right tools around you. What do you think about different cultures? In your opinion, how do different cultures affect set and setting? Like, we have different ideas about what's comfortable, relationships and family. Have you noticed some differences and some similarities in using psychedelics in different parts of the world, and how does culture play an effect on that?
Uh, uh, I'm gonna answer something. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
gonna be, yeah, yeah. That's, that's making me think about ayahuasca and
Mm,
about my experience there traveling in South America and seeing like lots of people coming out of like ayahuasca retreat or ayahuasca journeys, and to what and I've just popped up like studies about talking with someone about it. I believe that taking ayahuasca for Western people is very different than taking ayahuasca when you're in a tribe. You know, you know the shaman since you're born. You're part of this tribe. You all the support that, and ayahuasca is already in your DNA. Like compared to like a Western person that is going to come like take ayahuasca for the first time and don't really have like the psychological and mental and emotional support of the tribe. And I've seen so many people being more disturbed before after than before, that that ayahuasca can bring like so many questions that that can overwhelm you, and and you can get lost, more lost than before. So to answer your question, that I definitely think that yeah, we are Western people, and ayahuasca is for indigenous people, and that's important to be conscious of this, like really the set and settings, and the surrounding and the people that can contend the even after the journey, that are you using it, what you're going to, that's the integration, that how are you going to integrate this experience in your life, and coming out of it. And I'm not sure that as Western people we have all the tools to do it, and that can be disturbing. So, and specifically with ayahuasca, that I believe it's not as gentle as psilocybin. For me, like psilocybin is the gentle people. As the gentle people, they much less challenging than ayahuasca. That can be like much more challenging. So yeah, the set and setting plays an important role. In terms of other culture, I was discussing yesterday with a young person that she's studying psychology, and I was talking, and she wants to specialize with autism, and I was speaking about this person that I met that is like working with psilocybin and psychedelics and autism.
Wow.
And yeah, very interesting. And she was saying that during her teenage, that they were having so much, and that's the United States, they were having so much message about drugs and about drugs enforcement and say no to drugs, and that she's saying that's difficult for her to like see psychedelic that is a class 1 drugs, that to now to have like to see it, that they've so much been brainwashed that it's bad, it's addictive, it's like now to kind of change their mind about it, that they've been that have like a very carrying like a very negative how do you say, the very negative name, like I don't know how to say it, but yeah,
like a stigma.
yeah. So yeah, culture can play, the set and setting of culture can play an important role, that on the drugs that are going to be used, and how you using it, if it's like accepted or not, or yeah, definitely. That I can imagine for Asian person, it's gonna be like more difficult. Like I don't know, I've seen like Asian taking like psychedelic, it's like more, yeah, it's less accepted. And then I don't know, in my country, in France, that like everybody, so many million people like smoking like hash, that it's like something that's so common, that or even here in Jamaica, like smoking hash, you know there is, yeah, there is belief and yeah, everywhere that this is okay, this is not okay, this is like, put you into category that, so yeah, that I believe so. What is accepted and not, like in India, that, if you're a sadhu, you can smoke in the street, and that, and you can have also, like, if you're not a sadhu, you can have like a almost like a death sent, like a death imprisonment, like a life imprisonment, that, for the same thing, like the same plant, like, that, like, say, oh, I'm a sadhu, in fact, I'm a sadhu, that, but one it's okay, and the other one that, you got life imprisonment, that, where is the logical there, and just like, yeah, for sure that it's interesting that how drugs are treated, like, and we call it drugs, like, yeah, what's culture and what's okay, what's not okay.
Yeah. On some level, I think it's similar when we look at the way our ideas and our behaviors are kind of handed down to us through our family or culture. I think we start thinking about generational trauma, which you help a lot of people with. It's those same sort of patterns in our life, whether it's negative talk inside the inner dialogue that we say to ourselves that maybe our parents said to ourselves, or maybe it's something that happened to our grandma or our grandfather, but now it's been transmuted to us somehow. And maybe you could speak to some of that. I know you do a lot of work with transgenerational. Maybe you could define what that is and some of the things that you have noticed about it.
That's, what you just said, it inscripted in our DNA. It's information inscripted in our DNA. So, so basically, maybe let's define trauma. Yeah, because, trauma is so many people that say that, I don't have any trauma, and and I can say that we are all one way or another carrying trauma, that we, unfortunately, I see humanity, and even more those last years that we have spent, that, we have so I I always give an example about trauma. That's a terrible one, but, the 9/11,
Yeah.
most of all the people remember exactly something about the 9/11, how, what you were doing, or what, like, so this is like a very traumatic event. So what is a trauma is that you can, like, picture something. It's a memory that doesn't evolve. That's a stick memory. That's something that is there, and this is not normal. If I tell you about the 23 November, 2022, you not remember this. That's like less than a year ago. You don't remember anything. But if I tell you about the 9/11, you're gonna remember something, like, something very clear, like if that was like present, if you were there present. So a trauma is that when that you are, like, then and there, and not here and now. So you here and now, and here and now you are then and there, and you can, like you said, like, repeat the then and there, different way, but, the same kind of scenario, same kind of emotion. And this is like a traumatic memory that's repeated, and that can be passed on from one generation to the other. I'm going to be more clear. I don't know if I'm very clear. A trauma, it's a memory that is coming from the past, and it's still there in your present, that haven't evolved. This is a trauma. So simple, I've been abandoned in the past, and I've been abandoned by a parent in the past, and maybe I can be abandoned today by, like, a friend, a lover, so I'm going to re-experience exactly the same emotion, this abandonment. And that can be from, like, transgenerational, that, this abandonment can be lingering in the family, or or that can be like, sometimes what you see, like, that money problem, that, that things that are repeated, or or abuse, or that can be many things, or just like maybe like trauma of omission is a good one that not everybody knows, like what is trauma of omission, like is a lack of affection, lack of care, that when we not receiving enough love and attention as a child, that we all need, that we need to live, to survive. That's a survival that we see, that children that don't receive care let themselves die. There's extreme cases.
Yeah.
So this is, this deprivation of love, care, and affection. It's a lot, and it like big consequences. And and one of the biggest consequences often is that people use like any addiction to replace it. So addiction is a big self-medication for lack of love often, that for lack of of connection, this and today we are so much disconnected, that so much. So obviously there are probably people having more and more addiction, that one way or another. We got the super,
Right.
this is like, this is replacing, like, the connection that we can't have with people. And we need it. We need it to survive. We are social animals.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. I don't know. So we've defined like trauma, and about like how it's passed on from generation to generation, is just like, just what we live, and like you were saying, like limiting beliefs that we have, and how we grow, that are we enough or not, have we felt enough, and today, if we were not enough as a child, like, we're still not enough as an adult, and that's what we live every day, that not being enough, so not having self-love, self-confidence, and that's all the things can be helped with psilocybin. That's this is a great tool. This is definitely a great tool that help us to connect with this part of us that's completely disconnected. This child that we tend to push away, that we tend to ignore, and that is suffering, that is like self-medicating itself, or just like forgetting that there is this part of ourself inside us that's suffering, that numbing this part, this emotion part.
Yeah. It when I hear it put like that, a lot of the people that I speak to, and my family, myself included, and a lot of people I care about, and just in society in general, you see all these people with all these problems that we all have, whether it may be anxiety, depression, PTSD, some eating disorders, whether you're getting too much or too little, but all of these seem to be a manifestation of hiding something, not wanting to think about something, or repetitively not continuing to think about it without thinking about it in the right way. And it seems that modern medicine has been born out of this. It seems that a lot of the treatments that we have, like SSRIs and a lot of these addiction therapies that we have, they're never really meant for the individual to confront the problem that's bothering them. They're just meant to put a Band-Aid on it, or for you to put it back in that box and push it back way down deep and not think about it anymore. And it seems to me through my experience that psilocybin especially has been a way for you to walk up to the problem and stare at it from a third person point of view and be like, oh, I get it. That, you know what the problem is? I have this silly song on repeat. Let me just move the record over here, but it allows you to see the traumatic experience in a light without judging. And when you as an individual do that, now all of a sudden you can fix your problem. No one else can fix your problem for you. And we've relied on that for so long, and people love each other and they care and they want to help people, but no one can begin to solve their problem truly until they solve it for themselves. And I think psilocybin allows an individual a safe spot to do that, right? Does that sound kind of accurate? What do you think about that?
That 100%. That's completely you. I love it. You're right. Can I just summarize?
Please.
So allopathy is treating symptoms, and psilocybin is going to reveal the cause. And if you have the cause, the baseline, you can heal, because taking medication to hide the problem will never heal you. That just like, and the body is, you are not feeling good because your body is telling you, your body is talking to you, oh, there is a problem here, I'm not happy. And that's your inner child that is saying, I'm not happy. So now you're saying to your inner child, shh. But the inner child is going to come back. It's going to come back. And that's why, people take multiple medication and go back into other one, and it never worked because the source of the problem is not solved. And it's still this inner child is still talking to you that I'm not happy. You are there pushing me, shutting me down. And it's still I'm still unhappy. And anxiety is also that, it's a lack of resilience, that, you're not able to, anxiety is fear.
Yeah.
Fear of something that's never going to happen, is fear of, but that's fear of the non-existing thing, that all the multiple things that could happen that will never happen. And it's there, and we can't calm it because we're not we disconnected. We're disconnected. So, how I see things, and how the company that I've created is called Sophrologist.
Okay.
So it's a mix of sophrology, that is a technique that it's a guided meditation, dynamic guided meditation. Yeah, that's and that help you. It's help you a lot to deal with stress, and that help you to align body and mind. And when I talk about the mind, for me, the mind is the ego, is your cortex, is your adult self, is the persona, what you have created to be accepted in the society since you're born. This is the adult self. This is the persona. This is the cortex. And so sophrology is helping you to connect the body and mind. And on the other side, you got the psychedelic. So that's why it's soprodelic, And on the other side, you got the psychedelic that going to help you connect your inner child. And the inner child is the limbic system, is also your emotional brain. It's it's your shadow, everything that you've been suppressing and hiding, that is not negative, because I don't see the shadow as something negative. I see the shadow of something very positive, where you got all your gift, where you have your essence, but that have been suppressed by your family, by society. This is the shadow. That is not okay. That's not politically correct. You can't be yourself. What makes people suffer the most is just hiding themselves, pretending to be something they're not. Can you imagine how tiring it is to constantly, like, just like reassess yourself to just pretend to be like something that, to please other, instead of being like free, happy, and to be like feeling safe that I can be myself. It's okay to be me. And this is your child. This is your shadow. This is the inner child. And when you have like your inner child that can be because your inner child is all the energy, all the emotion, all that, all that what makes me happy. And I know my needs. And when you've got your emotion needs that are aligned with your body and mind, you know, you're happy, you're free. And that's this disconnection that makes people unhappy. And that's make this disease. Mental, physical, we're not aligned. We just like we're not connected, we're unhappy. So the protocol and the protocol that I've developed is really to help people being conscious of this disconnection and to give them tools to reconnect completely, body, mind, and soul. So,
Yeah, it's an amazing time to be alive and get to see this. I think it brings up another point that I find pretty fascinating too, and it's this: there seems to be a revealing of interconnectedness and unity on some levels, and these heightened states of awareness. When you find yourself at the peak experience, you get this realization that you're part of the whole. Like, you're part of this whole organism on some level. And that's a really freeing thing to feel too. It's like, oh, you can take a deep breath from it and be like, oh, this is all me. That's all me. That's an interesting concept to think about too, and pretty healing, it seems, at times.
that's something that is very common when you have a psychedelic experience, to experience the whole,
Yeah.
to experience the unity, to experience and as a witness of this experience. Every time somebody tap into anything, any knowledge, any deep knowledge, that and they come back with like growing, and so this is something that I believe that we all grow as humanity, as one. We all evolve. We all evolve. And that's something that I have experienced recently in the last year. I see the human body as like very perfect, that can heal itself. Yeah, as a holistic therapist, like I really believe that we got everything inside us to heal ourselves. And the body has white blood cells, and I see what you're describing, like humanity, like as one big organism, like you're saying. And I can see that in this big organism, more and more people are raving like white blood cells, like they healers, shaman, like all these people that we the humanity of so many, we are more and more like you said it, having like anxiety, depression. But I can see also at the same time raising all those people that want to come, like the psychedelics, that everything. You can see that there is a counterbalance that is happening to kind of help humanity, that we are getting disconnected, but there is more and more people that are trying to be there and do something to help others to reconnect. So I'm very positive still. I really believe that this is this phase transition of you know we need to regress to integrate to progress. So
Mm.
we can see that this is a regression in
Yeah.
humanity. But in therapy, and that's often when people are going to stop the therapy is during the regression phase, because it's dark and and you think that, okay, like I'm going nowhere. And but in fact that's the best time, because you need to have this regression to integrate the knowledge to progress more and higher. So it's not like the in therapy it's not linear. It's just like you start from zero and you go up, and you say, oh, that's great, and you regress, and you go up and you regress. But when you regress, it's terrible. You think that but you're far away from where you started. So it's
Mhm.
still positive that we doing much better as human also. And I think that this phase of regression is going to be very positive in the future.
I
i
love
i
it.
see it.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful, and I see the same vision when I love the metaphor and the way in which you describe it. In some levels, it makes me think that it makes me feel as if the answer, like, you can change, you can, by being the change that you want to see in the world, you provide other people with the options to take that same path. The same way two positive charges can change the charge of a negative nucleus around it. Two people that are positively making change, they can change the other people around them by changing themselves. And like, that's the change that we see happening right now. All these people that you were speaking about who have decided to become a more authentic version of themselves. By doing that, they're changing their environment, their relationships, and the way they see the world. And that's contagious. And why not? If we can look at health, when we look at a cold or the flu, we're like, oh, it's contagious. Why wouldn't health be contagious? The same way, the more of us become healthy, that becomes a contagious thing that infects other people. And I know we think about infecting as a negative connotation, but it doesn't have to be, right? Infecting someone with beauty and wellness is a good thing.
That I love it, because that's exactly every time I'm consciously, for me, when I'm giving psilocybin to people, it's just like I see the mycelium just
Yeah.
like spreading, like I'm giving psilocybin to you, but the love that you're going to yourself is going to be spread all around you, and it's
Yep.
just going to be like mycelium. That's exactly what I see, that you're completely agreeing with your vision, that and I see it like in terms of mycelium. Yeah, spreading love, of course. Of course, that's what that's exactly what I'm trying to do, like, spread love, like, yeah. Mm.
Yeah. It's so amazing to me. It's, you know, how do you, we've touched on this a little bit, but when you meet with people and you talk to them and you're learning and you're helping and you're discovering, how do you think exploring your inner world through psychedelics can impact the way individuals relate and connect with others? Like, what do you think is the relationship there?
You can only give what you receive, what you have. So I see it a lot. That I always say that we're talking about self-love,
Yeah.
or you need to love yourself. And I I've always find it like very hard to hear this. Why don't you love yourself? It's just like, that it's so painful and so terrible. If I was knowing what you're talking about, that, of course I would do it. That, it seems like love yourself. It's it's painful to hear this to people. That, that seems to be like so simple. So what's beautiful is that I've seen so many time. I just remember there was like a few days ago, somebody just like, on psilocybin and just saying to me, like, and you feel, I love myself. I feel so good. I love myself, that, and you can see and feel that the person for the first time is just feeling it, experiencing this love that we are talking about. But until that, you don't know what we're talking about. It's just, and the example that I'm using is that, like, I live in Jamaica, and there is ackee. Ackee is a kind of a fruit that, I can describe it and describe how it tastes and everything until tomorrow morning. But, until you're going to taste it and yourself and knowing exactly how does it feel, and, it's just words.
Yeah.
It's, but, and it's the same thing. Love yourself is just words.
Yep.
And when you're going to be able to experience like really like this love, this connecting with like this deep love and feeling it in every piece of your body, every cells of your body, like, this crazy sensation of love, or feeling safe, or, completely just like, and people laughing that, why am I like so anxious, that life is so wonderful, and feeling, and you see like, this deep emotion that they having inside themselves, like laughing about themselves, laughing about life, laughing about like how ridiculous it is to be so stressed, and so stressed for nothing. It's huge. It's huge. So this is an experience that now they can go back to, because now they know what they're talking about. They know where they have to, like, the path. This is a new neural pathway that have been created, and they can go back and tap into it. Now they know what it feels to, and this experience, this love, now they have it. And if they cultivate it, if they walk the path,
Yeah.
they can make it grow. And when they make it grow, now they got love, they got self-love, and now they can share it with others. And that's, to answer your question, that's the way that you can share with others, is that first to give it to yourself and to experience it for yourself. And that's the magic of mushrooms. Mushrooms are not miraculous, but they magical. They help you, like, experience things that you've never experienced before. And that's great. That's wonderful. And I love it. I love to see people like having this awakening of emotion, of positive emotion, of positive love for themselves. It's beautiful.
Yeah. I love the idea of walking the path, but first you have to create that bridge in your own mind. And it's so powerful to think. And for those who have experienced, like, they know this overwhelming feeling of like, wait a minute, I'm a pretty awesome person. Wait a minute, you know what? I did some pretty good things. And all of a sudden you build this muscle, and that's what gives you the strength to attract more of it into your life. And it's so sad on some levels to think how we've been conditioned. And I don't know if it's generational trauma or it's this world we're born into, but it seems that for so many of us, this idea of self-love, or maybe it starts with self-awareness and self-respect and self-love, and it's all of it, but on some level it's been conditioned out of us at a certain age, and to reconnect with that feeling it's so wonderful.
the source, love source. Like, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think that as a facilitator, as a person that holding a space, it's very important to convey it. You know, the way I work, that you know, that the protocol that I've created is that I'm embodying mother archetype, and like it's important to, like I say, that to the container to almost like help people to be in a warm and a safe warm,
Mm-hmm.
and to give and to provide unconditional love to the people that are journeying. So the way I work is that, you know, for me, that the facilitator needs to be this warm, needs to be this safe space,
Right.
and the people can journey inside. That's why I call it also agnostic, is that, you know, I don't come with my belief that, you know, I'm providing just a safe space. People come journey. They don't need any guide. They don't need any guidance. That's why also that, you know, I don't use any psychedelics when I'm holding space for someone.
Yeah.
This is not my journey. Nobody needs anyone to journey with them. That, you know, that I'm there, I'm holding their hand, like, you know, I'm there to be there, to just like a crutch, like, you know, that if they need me, if they need to be safe, I'm there. But this is their own journey. I don't have to guide anyone. Where am I going to guide you? You know, you're the only one that knows where to guide yourself. So this is important that people understand that, you know, when they journey with psychedelics, they can tap in their inner guide. They tap in their higher self. They got it all. They need to trust themselves. And the person outside the facilitator is just there to like provide a container where they're going to be able to journey. And that's very important for self empowerment, you know, that because psychedelics help you to raise self confidence. And that's your journey. You can do it by yourself. And you know, when you, and specifically that, you know, people having like a bit challenging experience, that, you know, coming out the way that, you know, that they've done it, that, you know, and they know that they can redo it in normal life. So that's their journey. That's people's journey. That's people's healing. They come to heal themselves. And everybody has the power to heal himself. And yeah, and as what I do is just I provide a safe space where you can come heal yourself and tools to do it.
Yeah. I couldn't agree anymore. I sometimes I wonder with all of the medicalization terminology being used with psychedelics. Sometimes I wonder if this container, you know, there's a lot of people trying to find ways to profit from it and use it as more of an institution than an instrument. And I think when that happens, when the instrument becomes the institution, that's when the problems begin, because it's no longer about the individual and their journey. It's about the institution now. And I'm wondering, do you see that? Do you see the same sort of issue on the horizon where it's trying to be too medicalized?
Okay, let's be positive.
Yeah, of course.
Let's be positive. You know, I definitely believe in psychedelics and the help that, and I'm going to say something. People need to be responsible for their choice.
Mm.
They need to be responsible for the facilitator that they're going to choose. That's their journey. That's their responsibility. Don't go like in anywhere with a facilitator or retreat or anything before like really questioning that, the is this person, is this place okay for me? That's the responsibility of the people. Just check, like, when you're doing therapy with a therapist, just you have to, like, to test your therapist. Is this person is safe for me? Is this person is able to understand me? Is this person is able and have the capacity and the tools to help me? You need to question all this.
Yeah.
So going back to the medical world, some people need this. Some people need, like I said, that for me it's agnostic. But some people are going to need the shaman setting with the music, with the guide. They want a guide, they want the music, they want this container because that's what
Yeah.
they think that they're going to have the best experience being guided, being like in this container. And some people need a container with like a medical world because they will feel safer there. So of course, of course, that the medical world is trying to, and it's going to be the same thing. Find the genuine and right person in every, as a shaman, as a doctor, as a psychiatrist, as a psychologist, as a facilitator, as a guide, whatever. Find the good person and the right person that's going to provide the right work, that going to genuinely, that what's the intention. We every time, like, I'm going to ask you that you want to journey, what's your intention? Are we asking what's my intention? I have an intention. I do have an intention doing my work. I want the world to be like, a nice place where everybody is happy, that, where, like, like this, I'm going to feel safe. If everybody is happy, that, there's no more reason to, everything's going to be cool and we're going to live in, yeah, La La Land and, like, the Care Bear land, and yeah, and I'm going to be good and happy there. That's my intention, helping people to live in a wonderful world. And if it's a utopia, that's cool, but that's my life. And, like every people that I help to be happy, that's spreading mycelium, happiness and freedom, and just like, and that's great.
Yeah, I agree too. On some level, I think that I love the idea that there are different containers, because I think that people seek out the container they need. Maybe they're drawn to that particular type of person in that particular area, in that particular type of setting. Who are we to really judge what that person wants or needs? And some
Mm-hmm.
people have the resources to go to this certain person, and that's who they need to go to. Like, if that's what they're being called, that's where they should go to. And it's wonderful to look at it from that perspective and
Mm-hmm.
spread this idea of positivity, and you know another area that people may not be aware of is this idea of harm reduction. And you've been great at it. You have done it not only where you are in Jamaica, but you've gone to different festivals. And I was wondering maybe if you could talk about this idea of harm reduction in different settings. Like, how has some of the work been done at festivals that you see? Maybe you can speak about some experiences there.
Uh, there was I think that I can share this, that that was that I'm gonna be mean, that, but that was like that was like the funniest experience, that so I was at a festival, and so the person, they took some GHB,
Mm.
and the girl, like, was like feeling like really bad. So her boyfriend said that, okay, you know what, I'm going to give you a bit of cocaine for feeling better. And he messed up the packet and gave her some ketamine instead. So,
Oh. Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it
Sorry,
happen.
sorry. So she was feeling like even worse. So he brought her like to, and so yeah, this is like, okay, that's I'm just, I find it funny because I could imagine that my boyfriend doing this
Yeah.
to me, and just like how upset I would have become that. But so, and yeah, nothing, and I'm not saying to take any drugs or
Right.
anything, or to mix anything together, but I just like, that's the thing. You're doing harm reduction. You're not there to judge.
Right.
You're just there to provide like a safe space, and helping people to that are overwhelmed, that to feel better, to feel safe. That so I when I was going to festival, I was using lots of drugs. So it did, and I was getting older, and I was just thinking that now, and the analogy I was seeing is that when you're in a tribe, and I was thinking the psychedelic
Right.
tribes, that now it's time. I'm getting older. It's time to take care of the younger,
Yeah.
without judging them, that we are there, we just like party. And that's for sure that when you're going to a trans psychedelic festival, you're going to want to take psychedelics, and you're going to want to party and experience like drugs for recreational. And personally, I think that there is benefit
Yeah.
in using drugs recreationally, like the same thing that in the right set and settings, that so it's important to help inform, and to be there to protect the younger people. So that's in this frame of mind, that I have to give back to the community, to the psychedelics community, because for me this is a work that needs to be done like volunteering. That I'm older, and I'm gonna take care of the younger, and I'm going to teach, to I'm going to provide information, to help, not judging, to be there and to protect. So I think that as society, I think that that's the way that we should deal with drugs, because that's very simple. We using drugs. We do use drugs. So that's the thing, that just drugs should be legal, any drugs, and be like protected, and informed, and people that like, there is no reason, because we see that all the problems are because it's not legal. That's when all the problems are coming, because you're gonna have fentanyl like mixed with the but if everything is permitted, people can experience was like in a safe way, like and why would we not be allowed to experience something if that's what we want? Why are we not free to experience what we want? That doesn't make really sense. And when we see that like drugs like sugar, alcohol, and tobacco are legal drugs that having like worse side effect than all the other one, that and they okay. So I'm for legalization of all drugs, and to like not punishing, and more informing, giving information, and helping people to experience in a safe environment. So that's the frame of mind that I do risk reduction. No harm, like that, no judgment, no harm. Of course we're curious, of course we want to and yeah, that's a protected environment. And you can see that for 40,000 people, like in like crazy condition, that taking so much drugs and using so much drugs, there is not much like problem at the end, that and don't want to do like advertise that take drugs or anything, But this is like, this is we human and we trying things, like, so it's better to try it like in the right condition, the right setting, the right drugs. So that's my point of view.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful. On some level, it seems that the psychedelic festival, be it a Grateful Dead concert or a music festival somewhere, like this is a rite of passage that's been absent from the Western culture for so long. It used to be that, and it still is in some areas, that if you're going to have a psychedelic experience, if you're a Native American, you would have gone with an elder to learn how to use it. If you're in South America, like you said, you have a tribe of people that have a system, a ceremony, and a rite of passage where you understand, hey, here's a way in which I can not only interact with my environment different, but I can think different. But we don't have any of those rails around us. It's like, this is taboo, don't do it. So, and of course you can't tell someone not to do something. That's like saying, don't think of purple elephants. So you can start thinking about them, right? And so us as children, we go and we have these substances with no guardrails. But I think that the idea of recreation on some level has taken is taken out of context. It's almost ceremonial in a way. And when you do it, when you have this incredible experience with like-minded people, you really begin to see the world differently. You begin to think differently. And maybe it's time we have an adult conversation about rites of passage and ceremonies. And that could be the first step into legalization.
I love it. No, I love it that, that, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty
Right?
cool. I always say that the world divided into the people that have taken psychedelic and the rest, that, it's, I definitely, I believe the question is that should everyone take psychedelics?
Mm.
My answer is do whatever you feel doing. Yeah, if you think that psychedelics is not for you,
Mm-hmm.
listen to yourself.
Yeah.
But if you think that psychedelic is for you, I think as society we should provide, because nature provides psychedelics.
Mm-hmm.
So as society we should provide the safe
Mm-hmm.
environment for people to try nature.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a great quote that says something along the lines of, the things that you're interested in are interested in you. So if you find yourself thinking about psychedelics, good chance that they're calling you, you know?
For sure. And you need to listen to yourself, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. That, and people say that, oh, that, that, yeah, that suddenly they say that I feel that, I feel that it's time for me to try this. And I'm hearing it like often.
It's interesting too. I've been speaking to so many fascinating people, yourself included, and one of the things that I've began thinking about is, I've been speaking to a lot of scientists who are trying to discover like the mechanism of action in the brain. Like, what's going on? Is it the 5H2A receptor? They have all this research and all this knowledge and stuff. And the question that comes to mind for me is is maybe mushrooms or some of these plant medicines are in fact neurotransmitters, or just exogenous neurotransmitters. They're neurotransmitters that are out in nature that help us communicate with nature, that help us understand nature's language. And do you think that theory is too far out there? It seems on some level there's a linguistic, or there's an exchange of information that happens when you're in these heightened states of awareness, especially on psilocybin. For me, it seems to me that it allows me to interpret nature in a way I never could had I not had those. What do you think about that particular idea?
Okay. I, I just, one idea pop up into my mind now, because I've got literally maybe different theory. I believe that this is going to quieten some part of your ego, quietening some part of your ego. So I see the sorry, I'm just gonna turn this up. No, I don't know how to do it. So you have the, yeah, here you are. You have the limbic brain and the cortex. So like the adult and the soul, and so it's going to help you quieten your cortex and help you to connect with your limbic system and your instinct. So now I believe that what we able to do constantly all the time that we're not doing anymore because we are too much in our cortex, we too much in our mind. We suddenly connected to nature just because we are very present, because it's shut off, it's quietened. So you are in a big meditative state that allow you to just connect. I don't think that's really the substance that, or you understand what I mean. That's because it's you got your mind, your cortex sleeping, and that's you in this state that is there constantly, but that now it's amplified, and now you able to hear, you're able to connect, you're able to. But if you train it, if you the more you train your instinct, that's the thing for people that have been to lots of trauma in their childhood. They have like this like more developed than others, that like instinct, they got more instinct that so I believe that it's there always there, that and psychedelic can just like make it more loud, or make you hear it more, or more connected. But you don't need, basically you should not need like psychedelic to be having. I believe that animals are on psychedelic constantly that in some ways, that you know what I mean, that we need it because we have lost this, because this connection, this brain is I in 2020 I was supposed to go do like a conference about like humans trained by machine. And I was talking about ADHD specifically, and about the fact that, with all the computer and everything, that our cortex and was more and more developed, and that we were less and less connected to our emotion, and that we were having to evolve to compete with the machine to like process like all the information. And for me, ADHD is not like a disease, it's more adaptation of the brain to survive. It's a survival adaptation, because to treat like information. And we can see that now it's even more the case. We're even more disconnected from our emotion after whatever happened during the COVID, and we're more connected with machine. We're more like, we're more connected to machine than to our instinct, huh? That and that have an visible impact on our brain, our cortex, and our like the shape of our brain, like inside, like completely modifies. So the fact that psychedelics like are more and more prominent in our society now, it's really because it's a need. We need to reconnect. We definitely need to reconnect like our mind and instinct. We need to reconnect to our instinct to survive. So that's the way I see it. It's connecting with your instinct, helping you to connect with your instinct, to the soul, to your essence, to yourself, to the all. To That's what psychedelic does for me. That for me, but that for that, I think that psychedelic does for everyone.
Yeah, I love that. I had never heard anyone use that idea that ADHD and perhaps some other issues like that are adaptations, but it makes perfect sense. Like that's a great, thank you for sharing that. I've never heard that before. That's beautiful. I can see that avenue. It makes sense.
That's we are in a time of transhumanism that that we our brain is shaped by machine, that we need to be conscious of it, and specifically the young generation, that that our brain is like kind of still neuroplastic and still like completely changing all the time, and that and we need to be like really conscious of the disconnection with the soul.
It's interesting. I think you can map it through literature. If you look at the way in which our metaphors have become mechanistic, we use mechanistic metaphors to describe nature. That's so crazy, right? Like,
no, but that's it is crazy that we are losing our soul. This is crazy. Yes.
Yeah. Or ignoring it. And then now we're back to the idea
and that's why
we're so disconnected. Yeah.
And that's why we are more and more suffering from anxiety and depression in our society. That's completely the reason, is this disconnection with the soul. That's so simple to understand. For me, it's like very, very, and where the trauma is playing a role is that because you have lots of trauma and different like developmental trauma, as the trauma in the childhood, like multiple trauma, multiple layers of trauma, and transgenerational trauma, that you have less resilience.
Yeah.
You have less and less resilience to be able to heal, or to be able to go back to like this place where you feel like happy, safe, in peace. And that's so that's a conscious, for me, that's really, I'm really consciously knowing what I'm doing, and if I've created this protocol, is like really like everything make really sense for me, that helping people, that really reconnecting to heal, like that helping them, that's in the connection and the consciousness and connection, that you will find safety, healing, peace, love, helping people reparent themselves. There's so many ways that just like the fact that women have started to work, all this, the whole society, that so kids were not like able to. So it's like layers of trauma, like the wars, like the two big wars and everything, and it, like all the loss, and that we carrying that, and now like this big trauma that have been like the COVID, and just like it's just like adding up, piling up, that and that and we need to stop and pause and reconnect.
Yeah. It's interesting to look at it from that angle, and then try and, if we talk about earlier in the conversation, we talked about regression and then growth, and you can, if you look at that cycle inside yourself, you can see it throughout the world, or maybe you need to look at the world and then look at yourself. However you choose to view that cycle, it's amazing to see where we're at right now. And if you think about it from a generational point of view, like we had this giant inflow of baby boomers, like this giant generation of people, and they expanded so far. But now this particular generation of people they're getting older in age. And in some ways, if you look at all of us as an organism, as humankind, as an organism on an organism, it's interesting to think about where we're at right now and all the calamities that are happening. On some level, we're getting to see a large portion of our body moving on or transforming in some way. So why wouldn't there be so much calamities right now? Why wouldn't we be on the cusp of war when we're looking at a generation of people who may be carrying unrealized dreams with them, and they're coming to the end of this transformation? Like, Why wouldn't we be at a crescendo right now, right? Like, it makes sense. Just a theory. There's a great book called The Fourth Turning that begins to speak about people and generations and bridges of knowledge from one class to the next class. And it's almost ceremonial in its setting. But once you begin seeing the world like that, or whether it's through regression and growth, you can almost use that lens to see anything through. And in some ways, it helps to bring clarity to the situation on some levels. And I think it's a great way to do it. Like, the same way psychedelics help you see yourself in a third person point of view, so too is it helpful to see the world we live in from a third person point of view. And I think you can extrapolate some of the same sort of conditions happening. Oh, that's happening in my life. Of course it's happening outside of this life. And in some ways it's very fulfilling and therapeutic to be like, hey, it's not just me. It's happening to everybody right now. Like, in some ways that releases the pressure from you and being like, oh, okay, I thought it was just me.
Yeah. And just accepting to be ourselves.
Yeah.
Accepting to be ourselves. That's the freeing ourselves from all this conditioning, societal conditioning that,
Yeah.
mental slavery.
Yeah. Yep.
Being free, being ourselves.
Yeah, I think it was Bob Marley from Jamaica who said, "Free yourself from mental slavery, for none but
That's why I
ourselves can
was
free our mind."
yeah, that's why I was referring to it, yeah.
Right? Respect.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
I love it. I love it.
And by the way, I would like to say that Jamaica is not the country that you can hear it as. Like, it's a very loving, safe country compared to like what, some people are scared to come in Jamaica because it's so, Jamaicans are super cool. They're very welcoming, and the country is pretty safe. I feel very safe here.
Yeah.
But
It's
that's a
interesting.
that's a beautiful place for awakening.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are the tip of the spear. Like, the laws in Jamaica make it okay for plant medicine and for medicine. Maybe you could talk about what's happening in Jamaica where you are and the psilocybin industry, and maybe you could speak to that a little bit.
Wow, it's exploding. It's exploding. That I'm just. Yeah, it's so very interesting that saying that some people 1 year ago they were not even knowing what psilocybin is, and now they kind of expert. That that there is like retreat popping up from here and there, like so many retreat that everybody wants to, that I don't know the name in English, the La Ruée vers l'Or. I don't know that when in America that they had gold, like everybody was coming to America
Gold
to get
rush.
gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gold rush, like this is the
Yeah.
psilocybin gold rush. That that's what I see. That yeah. By the way, there is not such a thing as a psychedelic expert for me. That doesn't exist. I like to say it, that if you can't tell me what's going to happen in my next trip, that you can't be an expert. So yeah, and that's 40 years that I'm taking psychedelics, and I still don't have a clue about what's going to happen. So there is not such a thing about psychedelic expert. So yeah, it's exploding. It's great that I think that psilocybin is very safe, so that make it not that bad, that everybody like can come and just like make himself like a facilitator, because it's a safe substance. So I also want to see it in a positive way.
Yeah.
So there is lot of people that offer now retreat that so that's great. So there is more space for, and one more time, it's the people that have to be conscious and careful that where you're going to go journey with who you're going to go journey, you need to be responsible of yourself. So there is good and bad facilitator, there is good and bad retreat. That's the responsibility of the people. Do you need to consciously choose the right people that ask question, how people work, like what they background, just like talk. I never going to journey with someone before knowing them. They need to connect with me before. If I don't connect with the people that that going to journey with me, that is not okay. They need to know. You need to know with who you're gonna journey. You need to, before like registering to like a retreat or with a facilitator, you need to know them. This is, you're gonna be in a altered state of consciousness and a vulnerable position, just like feel safe and choose, decide. This is your responsibility. So yeah, it's exploding here. There is a yeah, that is this is a big industry, and hopefully we going to all trying to keep it safe as possible. And yeah, and I hope that how I want to be. I'm in charge of ethics here in Jamaica. I want to be. That's important that people have ethics. The experience ethics. It's exploding everywhere, not even here. I'm so surprised about the number of psychedelic therapists, of integration, like so now you can go online and have like a 3 months, 6 months course and be a psychedelic expert.
Yeah.
Totally. That like integration and this is so and you know what? Maybe someone that have like a course, 3 months course, 6 months course will be more helpful to someone else than somebody that a PhD and everything that So choose the right person for you. That's the only thing that I can say. That be smart. It's exploding, and I believe that at the end the best will stay. That's that's what I can say. That there is no real competition in therapy. You need to find the right person for you that you think have the tools to help you. So yes, there is, on the side of the facilitator therapist, there is ethics, there is uh, we have to be responsible on our side, but I'm warning and I'm saying to the public, be mindful and choose like wisely, and you have the right to ask questions, you have the right to to know where you're going with who, and you have to be responsible of your healing. You are responsible of yourself and your healing. That's the way to grow. You're not you can't be a victim of people. You have to be responsible of your journey, of your healing.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's fantastic. And Benedict, this conversation has been wonderful. I really enjoy talking to you and learning and talking to someone who's had some really cool experiences and has a passion for helping people. But before I let you go, where can people find you, and what do you have coming up, and what are you excited about?
So I can see that people are more and more journeying because it's legal now to journey in the United States. So this is a new thing that I offer to people, to offer them pre-session and information and risk reduction and offering them also integration session. And in the middle, they can, like, giving them a bit of guidance about that, how like to be like in the best set and settings, that like maybe if they journey with people that they know, that people that they feel safe with a low dose, and offering like pre-session and integration session. So this is something that I've come up because I think that's important to include this in a session. And not everybody can afford to come travel in Jamaica, So I thought of this, and some people also that they can facilitate. Some I was speaking with some green nurse. They can facilitate, but they don't have the background and the therapy to, so they know how to sit for people. They can be there. But having the therapy side, that that they can offer also. So that's something that I offer now. Now I offer in Kingston also like one-on-one, that like short, like one session, people come for 3 days and it's one-on-one, or for 5 days, for two session. And so that's more affordable. And after I have a retreat. I don't know if I can like say I have a retreat that is open like from the 2 to the 9 December. I do like retreats where we're not going to be like much people, because it's always like, that works need to be done, so can't have too many people. There's going to be 3 sessions. It's going to be in Treasure Beach, and a nice place. um, so yeah, so people can find me on, I've got Instagram, I've got a website. I'm not too much like social media, like, and all this. I'm getting there, like, but I love to talk. I love to, yeah, like if you're interested, connect with me, contact me, and just like, I've yeah, that I do psychedelic therapy. That I help people also in the like post journey, and yeah, I don't know that. Yeah, I offer lots of different things. I like to do a la carte. I like to, it's important to connect to the needs of people and to listen to their needs. They know better than me what they need. So listening, what do you want? What do you need? That's very important. As a Rogerian, like, that not being and on, not to like guide too much people on what is like, but that what's good for you. So helping to provide what's good for you, you know. So,
I love it.
so
I, I love the idea too, that what you said earlier in the conversation about being the young person who was at the festivals, and then coming to the idea of like, okay, now it's my turn to help. Like I think that there's a lot of experience in there of being someone who needed the help and now being the person that provides the help. And like I think that is something that I identify with, and I know a lot of people do too. So for everyone listening to this, go down to the show notes if you're curious. Go and check her out. Check out her links on Instagram and her page. And if you're curious, do your own research and find out the people that call to you, and do it responsibly, and try to become the best version of yourself. Because I think when people begin becoming the best versions of themselves, the relationships get better, their life gets better, and the sun just seems to shine a little bit brighter when that happens. So if you
if
hang on, yeah, please.
can I just like,
Yeah, of course.
that just advice for facilitator,
Yeah.
practice not doing. And if I was very blessed to be accepted again to be part of this organization, It's called Cosmic Care at Boom Festival this year. I'm very blessed to be like, be part of it and to serve. And, I like this word doula. Doula is mean like servant, slave, and to be a servant to the mushroom and to serve. And when you're doing risk reduction, it's very important. You're serving and you're not doing therapy.
Right.
And you're very humble to just there, not to want to change anything. You just like practice not doing. And that's the best advice that I can share with like facilitator. This is not your journey. Just like people don't need any guidance, they don't need anything, they just need a safe space. Practice not doing. Be present, be there, know how to hold a hand or give a hug if it's needed, but practice not doing. It's not your journey, that's the people's journey.
That's really well said. It's really well said. Well, hang on for briefly afterwards. I'm going to talk to you briefly afterwards. But for all of our friends, that's going to be our show for today. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you learned as much as I did, and I hope you found the conversation as interesting as I did. And I hope that you have a beautiful day and a beautiful evening or morning, whenever you listen to this. And that's all we got for today, ladies and gentlemen. Aloha.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you
Yeah, of
for
course.
having me here. And yeah, I've also a wonderful day. And yeah.
Okay. We did it. I think we hit this button.